more training is happening and will be happening over the course of the coming months and year.
Can I just ask quickly on the subject? The members, you said there was a few members in Poland and Scandinavia who presumably don't have their own organizations yet.
Yep.
Are any of those paying members of Cryonics UK?
Off the top of my head, one from Poland and Norway. Are you a paying member? I can't remember. Are you on Norwegian?
No, I'm living in here anyway, so.
Okay. No, I don't think we do have from Scandinavia at the moment.
I'm just wondering what sort of private arrangements they have for. I mean, how are they going to get from where they are to the UK, or what's going to get you over there?
I'd have to ask some Scandinavian cryonicists I know. Frankly, I could do that now if you want. I could phone them, but I might as well wait until after these things and find out for you if you wish to know. But I imagine, like most places, they simply have arrangements with local funeral directors. Regards to funding of that, incidentally, again, I'm not a representative of CI or Alcor, but this information is correct to the best of my knowledge. Alcor will, it's part of their service that they will pay for costs incurred overseas. They'll charge you slightly more for membership overseas for that privilege, even though they will not always be able to provide on-the-ground assistance outside of America. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. It depends on resources, people power, time, how much time you have, that kind of thing. But they will assist financially to some degree. CI don't themselves make any provision for such whatsoever. However, if you overfund your funding with CI, for example, my suspension with them costs $28,000 US and I provide £100,000 pounds sterling in life insurance, they will use money from those funds to pay necessary expenses, with regards to local assistants, funeral directors, that kind of thing. I don't know who the cooperating funeral directors are in Scandinavia. If indeed there are. Many people who are near Britain use Alban & Sons in London. They might do the same, or they might have cooperating funeral directors.
I've been told
nearby.
that they do cover pretty much all Europe, including Scandinavia.
But yeah, it's certainly easy enough for me to find out for you. If you want, I can check after this talk.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So, bunch of contact details. Feel free to get in touch. I put later inquiries because you people in the room are here right now. You can ask me questions now, but you might think of things later. And also, I'm aware that this will be going on YouTube afterwards, so people may watch this video and have their own questions. So, www.cryonics-uk.com. DS, that's me, David Stiles, at cryonics-uk.com, and my number there. If you're calling from the UK, that's the number, and if you're calling from outside of the UK, that's the number. Okay, that's me done with all I had prepared. Are there any questions for things that people have not already asked, I've not already covered, that kind of thing? Yes?
Two questions. One.
I think Ray Kurzweil has a nice little timeline that he promotes that suggests around 15 years. Ray Kurzweil is generally considered to be very optimistic. My personal expectation, based on my complete lay understanding of the progress of emergent technologies that haven't arrived yet, I'd guess between 20 and 50 years. But, frankly, at liquid nitrogen temperatures, no changes occurring, on a geological timescale, time's occurring, but on the kind of timescale that humans reckon in, no changes occurring. So long as the cryonics storage organisations have the long-term staying power to continue in existence, then there's not an issue. The patients in storage can wait as long as it takes. Most cryonics organisations do bear in mind the necessity for long-term survival, and consequently each have their own preferences with regards to investment strategies, keeping their costs low, that kind of thing. CI, has possibly lower overheads than Alcor. Alcor possibly makes more money than CI, that kind of thing. You know, everybody's got their differences. CryoRus, I'm not at all informed enough about their financial situation and plans to comment. Timeship, still in the pipeline, but when that's created, that's very much designed with being pretty much indestructible and standing the test of time. So you know, there are different approaches to this kind of thing, but ultimately I think it's a moot point once somebody's in suspension, so long as they come out of it at some point. For my part, it's not tremendously important to me if I come back in 15 years or 1500, so long as I'm able to continue my life. Does that answer your question?
It does. And can I just ask, what would you live on? You know, do you have to put down money in trust so that if you're revived, you've got something to live on?
No. Some people ask this. You know, won't you be broke when you come back? Well, some people do make financial plans for their return. There is the Asset Preservation Society who focus on this kind of thing, and people can set up perpetual trusts and basically financially provide for themselves upon their reanimation. Personally, I've not done so for two reasons. One, I like to focus my energies on getting there. Two, the financial resources that I have now, I plough into getting there. Three, I have my doubts that by the time the technology is available to bring somebody back from cryopreservation, I have my doubts that money will still be a socially relevant construct. And if all else fails, I'll be broke. I've been broke before. I managed to build up a nice life for myself afterwards. It's not the end of the world. So I don't trouble myself too much with that. There was a question over here somewhere?
Yeah, I was just wondering about, I wasn't entirely clear now, you're vitrifying here now and sending patients in a vitrified form over to the US?
Yes and no. We're doing the first stage of vitrification in the UK, that is to say perfusion with vitrification solution and cooling down to dry ice temperatures. We then ship to the US on dry ice, on dry ice, and in the United States, then they perform the final cool down to perform the actual physical process of vitrification. Yes and no. We do a lot of legwork over here, and we make it possible for them to finish the job over there. If we didn't do over here, the bit that we do over here, they wouldn't be able to vitrify over there because the the patient would be, they'd be on dry ice. They'd it would be very, very difficult to start doing reperfusion, to perfuse them with vitrification solutions in America. And if it were possible, then it would start causing reperfusion injury, which would be very bad.
Do you perfuse them here and replace their blood with another fluid prior to shipping to the States?
Yes, we do all that over here. There's a question in the back.
Sorry, my apologies for coming late. It was no reflection of disrespect to you. It was me getting the logistics wrong. There was a change yesterday to today of the engineering works. I was trying to, one of the things, so I may have missed what you were saying earlier, and one of the biggest questions to me is the basic business case that this technology rides on. My concern is that once you've been, what's the term you use, once you've been suspended, your ability to work, earn an income is severely limited, and there are storage costs over a long period of time, depending on whether we're talking about 50 years or 1500 years. How do those storage costs get covered if it isn't based on some type of pyramid scheme with new people coming in and paying people who are already there?
Simple. Good question. Simple answer. It comes from the funds that are given to the various organisations at the time of the patient's deanimation, usually at the time of the patient's deanimation. For example, myself, my suspension with Cryonics Institute will cost me $28,000 US. My life insurance will pay out £100,000 sterling. There's quite some difference there. Now, a small amount of that difference will be used up in the costs of my suspension, stabilisation and transport. The rest of it goes into a patient care fund. and that patient care